Hello and welcome to the second season of Gerety Talks. My name is Vongsayan and I am the co-founder of the Gerety Awards, the creative award that is redefining creative benchmarks by showing the value of the female vision in advertising. With this series, we aim to put in the spotlight the industry's true changemakers with a refreshing take on what leadership looks like. Today, we welcome two very special guests from Thailand, Phannika Vongsayan, founder and managing director at Wolf Bangkok. Welcome. Wolf Bangkok was rewarded as Thailand Agency of the Year at the Gerety Awards in 2020. And we also have Rvisra Chirathivat, who is the CMO of Central and Robinson, an omni-channel retailer with more than 70 locations across Thailand. So welcome and thanks for joining our first Gerety Talks for this second season. Thank you very much. So you have been working together with some very successful and amazing campaigns like Shop Unfriend and Don't Die Till That Day for the midnight sale at the Central Department Store in Bangkok. So Shop Unfriend was rewarded with the bronze in the Humor Cat in Gerety Awards. So let's have a look at the campaign and then we can discuss it.
เร็วกว่านี้ได้ป่ะนี่ไม่ใช่มิดไนท์เซลปกตินะ
ใจเย็นคนทั่วไปไม่รู้หรอกว่าคอลเลกชันใหม่ก็เซล
ไม่รู้แหละยังไงลูคัสใบนี้ต้องเป็นของเทรซี่
สมกับที่คบกันมานาน
ไม่เป็นไรใบนี้ของวิกตอเรียเทรซี่เอาอย่างอื่นแทนก็ได้
ถ้าวิกตอเรียเอาเนี่ยวิกตอเรียจะเป็นเพื่อนแบบไหนเทรซี่เอาเถอะ
ไม่เป็นไรวิกตอเรียเอาเถอะ
เทรซี่เอาเถอะ
รีบไปกันเถอะอย่างน้อยมันก็ต้องเป็นของพวกเราคนใดคนหนึ่ง
ก็จริงไว้เดี๋ยวให้ยืม
เทรซี่ไม่ยืมของ
บอกแล้วไงว่าจะให้ยืม
ไม่เป็นไร
เพื่อนกันเว้นวันเซล Central Black Midnight Sale ลดหนักทุกแบรนด์ 26 พฤศจิกายน ถึง 7 ธันวาคมนี้
So how did you come up with the idea for this campaign?
Actually, I'd like Kun Rvisra to get back to the background, the brief, because I always think that a great campaign always came after the tough brief, right? So, Kun Rvisra.
So Shop Unfriend was a campaign in that was around November 2020, and I think during that time in Thailand, it was the coronavirus hit Thailand in February of the earlier of that year. However, I think what happened was the country have done very well in terms of like containing the spread of the coronavirus, and towards the end of the year, we barely had any cases per day, but we talk about it later after November, but the case surged again. But in November, there weren't that many cases, maybe 1 or 2 per day, and looking back, as we were watching the news of the other countries, it was like an outbreak everywhere in Europe and America, and no one was able to maintain it. So essentially, in terms of like the people, like Thai people, or Thai sentiment, it was becoming very positive, and everyone was ready to get back to, living their normal or the new normal life. And really like, during that time, it was time for our midnight sale. So at that time, the competition was quite fierce because everybody wanted to share a voice. It was almost end of the year. So it was, our goal was, how could we be more outstanding than the rest of the market? How can we speak to the Thais? How can we, bring back that momentum to come back, to let all the shoppers come back to Central to shop at midnight sale? So that was kind of, the challenge that we were facing. Yes, at the beginning to a great campaign.
Yeah. So then when we get that brief, of course it's challenging, and it's, we don't have much time to prepare, right? And what we like to capture actually is, we have to be excitement, because we wanted to bring back that excitement of shopping in store once again, so that everyone, so basically Thai has already been back at home for 8 months. So we have been locked down for 8 months. As Kun Rvisra said, that we are so eager to go out, and instead of demonstrating the image or the story of people enjoying shopping in store, we change the way it a little bit, Why don't we move that feeling during the trip to the store? Okay, so basically from 8 months logging down, the trip to the store, the simple trip to store can create excitement, right? Can create excitement, and it's also elevating the sales, the feeling of you shopping. And what we try to find out here is I think it's about the truth that we demonstrating here. The truth is that, of course, you have best friends, and best friend fight all the times, and we value the best friend quality, right? And in this case, we love the same thing, we share the same interest, and we like to go shopping at the same place, and we want the same product. And the sales is good enough for you to break up your friendship. So it's elevating the importance of the sales as well. So I think this is what we do.
And how was the feedback from the people and customers? Did you get any comments?
A lot of the comments.
Yeah, it was very, very good, right? I think first of all, we launched a video in, on social media. So we amplified our campaign everywhere through IMC. So, starting with social media, then we went ATL and also, and all kinds of media, including even news station. So it became a talk on social media, lots of, organic sharing, lots of share of voice in the market. And of course, in terms of business performance, as myself always look at the business performance, obviously we see a really nice good lift in terms of, traffic to store, in terms of sales, in terms of increase in transaction or spending per ticket. And of course, everything went up, double digit. And I think at the end of the day, for me, the whole point was, of course, it's the promotion will always drive sales. But for me, it's how can we Central as a brand stay top of mind for the consumer? And that to me was, something that the campaign really could deliver.
And for me, when we do the advertising, we don't want it to be just an advertising. We wanted to put it into the consumer's life, and it's kind of rewarding when I check back into the Central Department Store official site, and then I saw that people tagging their best friend, come look, like that, without us asking for them to do so. It's rewarding. So it's not just advertising, it's penetrating into the kind of life. So yeah.
Great. And where do you get the aesthetic inspiration for the campaigns? They look, I was showing them to a friend that doesn't work in advertising, and he said that they look super cinematographic, like retro kind of Tarantino style.
Which one, this one or the Don't Die Till That Day?
Well, I showed him both, but I think it's mostly Shop and Friend. But I mean, he just said immediately, wow, it looks like a Tarantino film.
Actually, when the production quality and everything, I think we have to thank and credit it to the director and the team of Factory 01, actually, that craft the cinematography, the style, and if you may know that it's a consistency from the brand as well, because we have been using this continuous style since 4 years ago, from the first campaign that we prepared for Central Department Store. So we didn't have the intention to make it more like Tarantino. But then during selling the script to Kun Rvisra, we struggling a little bit in terms of production, if Kun Rvisra can remember, because, you know, it's all about the mechanic. The car break into 2 parts. We afraid at the time that it's going to be costly and not, you know, worth the spending or something like that. Because if it's in Hollywood, of course, there's a big budget, then you can do everything about it. But then midnight sales, even though it's the biggest sales of the year, but we don't want to overspend the budget on the production, right? So we have to try to find a way to make that mechanic works. So luckily that mechanic is manual. So actually you don't see any CGI in that commercial. It's the real car, and we actually purchased 2 old cars and just break it. And when we cracked it, the way that we could deliver in terms of the production and successfully share with the central team, Kun Rvisra here, that yay, finally the board that we both enjoy can be able to produce. Yeah, I think that's one of the lucky day, the happy day.
Yeah, I mean, when Kun Phannika proposed an alternative option, I said that's not an option. The option was we need to break the car in half.
Not good enough. We have to find a way. Yes.
But and at the end we use the actual car to be like the display in the store. So, you know, just really to link, you know, the commercial to the store experience. So and it became like a photo spot for the shoppers. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, great. So let's now have a look at Don't Die Till That Day spots, and then we can discuss this campaign.
Sure.
ก็ไม่คิดว่าจะมีใครหน้าตาสวยไปกว่าฉันทำงานมาได้ครึ่งค่อนวันคนนั้นคนนี้มองตาไม่ปริฉันคงสวยเกินเบอร์ทำให้เธอหัวเราะงุบงิบคนมองงงฉันก็ชักงั้นเลยก้มลงดู เจอผู้บ่าวสุดหล่อเดินเข้ามามันจ้าดไปใจหน้าเธอทาได้ครีมอะไรทำไมมันไรอย่างนี้โอ้ยมันแสบอึดอัดเต็มอกต้องระบายออกอยากจะบอกรักไปแต่ทำได้แค่เพียงเท่านี้
ขอเชิญท่านประธานเอกผบตมรมน.
ขอเชิญท่านประธานขึ้นสู่ยอดเสาฝากบอกแม่ว่าเปียแท้อย่าเล่นลายลูกคนนี้สิขอได้ก่อนแต่ขอละเด้อเทวดาฟ้าดินอย่าเปล่าเอาข่อยไปเด้อ
ยังไงต้องได้ช็อปเซ็ Central Midnight Sale 28 พฤศจิกายนถึง 8 ธันวาคมนี้
So how did you come up with the idea for this campaign?
This is a tough one. This is a tough one because at the time we need to do the campaign from the brief. We need to do the campaign that is nationwide, and it has to be fashionable according to the brief. And we have to capture the Gen Y. So Gen Y has to like us because Gen Y is the new generation shopper, majority of them. So the brief is not easy. I think, Lucia, you understand that in Thailand, Bangkok is not Thailand, right? Thailand consists of so many provinces, and every one of us share different sense of fashion. So if we have to deliver fashion for everyone, it's difficult to do so. So we get back to the core, and then we try to understand more in terms of the Gen Y insights. Yeah. And we dig into understanding that the most valuable thing for them across the country is the social value, the face value. So, and every one of us in terms of being in this generations, struggling the similar thing, the love interest at work or struggling to be acceptance at work and how to get promoted at work. It's that little things. So basically we use that little thing as the key idea to trigger the whole nation of this generation. So we announced to them that Central Department Store is taking their side by understanding what they have to face every day. And the style came afterwards because, we just tell them that, okay, if you die in terms of social, you got social murdered or anything, don't die because you have to visit Central Midnight Sale first before you die because it's worth it. And this is the core idea of it.
And
right.
Rvisra, did you say yes right away, considering that dying is a great part of the campaign and it can be a little bit controversial maybe?
No, I think that Wolf really cracked the challenge we faced at that time. And, and the insight for us was really to understand the struggle of Gen Y and how we could really touch upon the topic, right? And in a non-controversial way, and yet still portray the real truth, the real insights of like the struggle of the social status. And, and by being able to portray, like the real life situation, the struggle of like losing face, of the fear of losing face, and presented the way that Wolf did, I think it was like touching everyone's heart, and it became talk of the town because it's something that they could relate or resonate with the experience, of like the embarrassment, because that the purpose we knew it wasn't really about dying, it was not about portraying death, but it was more on like the embarrassment, like, something like I'd rather die if, so, the way it is like being portrayed through the music, and the lyric, it really also added another level of entertainment. And I think this one was like something that I think when people, saw it right away, they just loved it right away, and it became talk of the town again.
Okay, so you answered my next question, which was about the feedback. So you said before that you had been working for 4 years with Central. I was going to ask you how long have you been together, and what are the keys to having a successful and long-lasting relationship with the client and an agency?
Would you like to? For me, you want me to go first? Okay, I'll go. To me, it's all about honesty, really. I think we have to have the audacity to speak the truth, that this is what matters for the brand, this is not. But then when we say it, like when we do the interview and we talk about it, like this, it sounds simple and easy. But in reality, when we work together, sometimes it's not so easy. So I have to thank Rvisra a lot because of her open mind and the team who trust one another in terms of the way we work. And it allows us to would like to explore more for the brand, and not every time that everything that we prepare got sold. It has to be back to reality because, so, but it's her encouragement and the team's encouragement, the openness, so that we're willing to do more no matter what for the brand. So I think this is honesty and the open-mindedness of the team is one of the key elements that we are here happily together.
Yes. And just to add on, it's really about trusting one another, so trusting each other and being able to, bounce some ideas, even during off hours, even not during the client hours, we still could bounce ideas. And it's about like really, how can we keep challenging each other so that we can learn and grow from each other, right? And the most important thing for me is like, it's about the passion for the brand. I think the brand central. I think we both are very, we both are very passionate for the brand. And so like any efforts that we put in, we make sure that the work must be outstanding. So we only accept outstanding work, one of a kind work, and the work that really drive results and really drive our brand equity. So I think, with Wolf, we have this trust, we work with each other, and we're able to bounce ideas with each other. I think this one is it's quite very important thing to have between agency and clients.
Well, good for us because all the things you come out with are really great. So we are happy to still enjoy these campaigns. And do you think, talking about Thailand and Thai advertising, do you think there's something specific about it or something that makes it immediately recognizable? What do you think?
This is a tough question for me. It seems like I have to answer it first. But when looking back to Thai people, I think Thai people have the elements of Thai people enjoy the entertainment, I think, to begin with. Everyone, from the festival that we have, from the culture that we have, Thais enjoy entertainment. And the only way, maybe one of the best way to engage with them, to turn their heads, is to do it through entertainment. And this is what that is what we do. And then moving on a little bit forward, it seems like we prepare the ingredients, we prepare the recipe for Thai to enjoy and to like. Yeah, and then one day, I think it's similar to like food. So like maybe to like tom yam goong per se, we prepare it for Thais to like it. And then one day, the rest of the world also enjoy it, like pad Thai or tom yam goong. And it's been recognized by the whole world that it is from Thailand, and people enjoy it. And I think it's about that. I don't know whether I answered the question, but yeah, I tried.
Because there's also something about Thai humor that I think is like very local in a way. But still you see these campaigns in international festivals and everybody loves them. So it's like kind of local but universal. So that's really good. I think maybe with the food is the same, no? With Thai food, everybody loves Thai food.
Yes. So it's my intention is for Thais, but then it got acceptance worldwide.
Yeah, so that's super good. And Rvisra, what were the biggest challenges for a retail like Central during the pandemic? Like you mentioned before, you had like 8 months lockdown in Thailand.
Yeah, I mean, we had lockdowns, but actually we had also a couple times that we had to completely shut our stores. And shutting our stores, that's a big deal, right? Because we have physical presence all over Thailand. Another one with like the heavy competition of like online coming in. So like for us is more like, how could we gain not just share our voice, but also like lead lead our campaigns or anything that we do to grab attention, to be very, using our data to touch, 18 million customers that we have in our database. How can we also innovate more, campaigns to drive sales conversion, and also how can we leverage all the different channels that we have? Because we don't just have the physical store, we have online, we also have like the social commerce aspect. Personal shopper. So how could we, and we launched together with Wolf, we launched a personal shopper, a worldwide a nationwide campaign on 1425. So that's is to serve the customers the time they needed us the most. How could we serve them? So that's that's when I think the pandemic really taught us to be more agile, to think outside the box, and to really do something quick and effective. So I think that's something that we learned a lot from the pandemic, and especially for retail.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
And Phannika, Wolf was rewarded with Thai Agency of the Year at Gerety. What do you think is the key to making successful campaigns?
Oh, thank you, Gerety, once again for awarding us the Thailand Agency of the Year Awards. It means so much for everyone at Wolf, actually. And for us, we try our best to, when we got to represent the brand, we try our best to differentiate the brand. Yeah. And try to make our clients' brand stands out. And this is what we're trying to do for each and every campaign. And when we do our work, we try to put the world that we are living in inside of the work, so into the work that we do. But then if you can see that the world is changing, right? Consumers changing, behavioral is changing. Therefore, the work that we do should constantly changing as well. So I at Wolf, we're trying to make every campaign of us evolve through time and accept the change, and trying to be fresh, engaging, memorable, and as much as we can do. So I think this is the way that we work here at Wolf. Yeah.
Great. And so now to wrap up, what are your plans for the coming months? What projects are you working on that you can tell us about?
Phannika.
Can we tell them?
Well, that's another question, if you can.
Definitely. Of course, we would like for you guys looking forward to the next midnight sale campaign, right? Rvisra, can we say?
Yes,
I said it already.
Midnight sale coming up again.
Yes.
It's going to be another exciting campaign. 360. So just in time for the shoppers to come back to our stores. And it's a very new and exciting concept and quite innovative. So that's something that I'm also looking forward to reveal to everyone. And of course, as #1 retailer, like we have the challenge to maintain the position as generations after generation. So definitely, you'll see more exciting work, more innovative work, and more newness work coming from us.
Yeah. So I truly looking forward to our coming up work together. Yeah.
So are we. So yeah. Totally. Thank you very much for joining us for this first Gerety Talk for the second edition. And best of luck with everything. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having us.